You are now listening to Tech Tea Entertainment with your girl, DJ SHEJAI.
And REINADIYA.
Welcome to another episode of Tech Tea Entertainment. This is your girl, DJ SHEJAI.
And REINADIYA.
Today's topic will be branding yourself as an engineer. We have two special guests today.
Engineer Mr. Orlando Hall and Mod 3 student and artist Angry Face.
All right, so before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's get to know our two special guests today. We have Mr. Orlando. He is not only an engineer, but a studio owner as well. We just want you to go ahead and give a little background of who you are, where you've come from, and who have you worked with in the past.
I want to say I'm glad to be here. Thank you guys for having me. All right, just real quick, where I come from, I'm just a regular guy. The only difference is that, I got hit with the bug to actually record and do music or whatever. After I saw a little bit of like quick, easy success selling mixtapes and doing shows or whatever, I was like, I like this. I want to study more, so I went to Full Sail afterwards. Then after that, just did some good internships and worked at a couple places. Got let go, got fired here and there, whatever. But long story short, I was able to take advantage of an opportunity where I could take over a good studio. And from there, marketed, got some business going, and it opened a bunch of doors. And one of the doors is I'm here now.
Awesome.
That's awesome. And Angry Face, can you give us a little bit of a background on yourself as well, being an artist and a producer, or are you just an artist?
Artist. I've been a producer since I was like 15 years old. I grew up in a church where music was kind of I had a lot of equipment and drums, and I learned how to play the drums when I was like 11, and I've been playing ever since. But because I was in an atmosphere where there's a lot of music exposed to me, I was just always curious to learn more. So somebody gave me a laptop when I turned 15, and ever since then I was making music off of GarageBand to Logic till now. It's I just grown in a lot of knowledge. I produce a lot of beats, and I make a lot of music for myself. So soon to be released.
Awesome. So when you say producing, you're a beat maker.
Yes, I'm a beat maker and a producer. So I mean, I've had a lot of people that just like my input in my ear. So they just like me to sit in a room and kind of like pick my brain and, have me craft something together, just whatever vision I have at the time during that session.
Okay, cool. So Mr. Orlando, can you please explain the importance of branding for engineers, new engineers at that?
All right, so just branding in general is it's a way of just ensuring longevity. You know what I mean? It's basically like the best way to put it is it's making a name for yourself, but also letting people know what you stand for. So like the easiest and first part of it is networking. And I know it's kind of like old and cliche or whatever, but that's really what it takes. You got to meet the people first.
Exactly.
And then after that is just a matter of consistency. Basically, like through your social media, through the contacts you have, when you go out, when you meet people, when people see you again, are you the same person every single time? And then as far as that, like it ties into authenticity, meaning like you basically have to be what you say you are. Like you ever meet somebody like, and on social media they one thing, and then when you meet them in real life it don't really match. You know what I'm saying?
1 + 1 doesn't equal 2.
Exactly. So that's the authenticity part. Like, or like even simple things like you'll meet somebody, they'll say like, oh, I'm an engineer or whatever, and then you go on their page and it's a bunch of music, a bunch of stuff that they did or whatever, and we break it down, you're like, well, actually you're an artist. You know what I'm saying? So like you're telling me one thing, but your page is suggesting something else. Or like, you know what I'm saying? Or like when you meet people, even comes down to like certain things, like are you consistently late? Do you not return texts? Do you not return calls? Are you hard to get in touch with? So like stuff like that, all that ties into your brand. Because, if I'm looking at you as a business owner or whatever, I might not want to do business with you. I might not want to I might not want you as a client, Like even now when I'm picking my projects or whatever, people who are more reliable, whatever, I'm more likely to deal with you. But if I feel like you're going to be late or inconsistent, I might pass you off to an intern or a different engineer or whatever, just because of that. So branding boils down to all of that.
So you would say, because my next question was going to be, where would we start first? And after hearing that, I would think that like my social media would need to make sure that I'm representing what I am trying to offer.
Exactly.
Or at least trying to sell.
Right, exactly. Because You know, a lot of times you meet somebody, they say they do one thing, and then on their social media is like cats or like pictures of their kids, it's selfies and all that,
Selfies,
and
just
that's cool.
selfies.
But it's like an interaction, right? So like say like even as kind of like cliche as this, it kind of breaks down to dating, right? Like if I was giving advice to somebody on like meeting women or whatever, I'd be like, yo, be more interesting than your page. You know what I'm saying? Like if someone sees you on social media, they meet you in real life, will they be disappointed? Would they be like, damn, bro, you know what I'm saying? You got all these likes, and at the end of the day, you're just a model. You know what I'm saying? Or you're just this, or you're just that. So it's the same thing. Like when you're looking for work or doing whatever, you know what I mean? You want to portray yourself in a way that is like an introduction. You know what I'm saying? Like your page or your social media, whatever, everything that you do, you want to make sure it's fashioned to the same subject. So in other words, like if we're talking purely social media, you want to make sure something as simple as all your profiles are consistent. You know, does your full Facebook profile look like your Instagram? Does your Instagram look like your Twitter? Does your Twitter look like whatever else? You see what I'm saying? And then from there, when you meet people, you should have no problem directing to your social media, because you don't ever want to meet somebody and they be like, "Well, my account's private because I got all kind of crazy stuff on there." Well, that's not the way to do business. You want to make sure that everything you give out is consistent, down to your social media.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
That really does. I agree with you though. I feel like it all needs to tie in together in order for it to work. Because if does it all tie in together, it's not going to make sense. And with that being said, Angry Face, I also wanted to ask you, with you being a Mod 3 student, have you learned anything that would help your brand stand out more as like who you are as an artist?
Yeah, I feel like as long as you're on the journey and you're doing as much as you can to learn as much as you can, then with everything you do, you'll just continue to elevate. But being here at the school, I didn't want to come here to the school thinking that I knew anything. I wanted to give myself a fresh start so I can learn from like professionals and learn more of the ins and outs of everything. But pretty much when it comes to my brand and me trying to promote myself as a producer or as an artist, we're learning a little bit more about that as time is going on here at school. But so far, what I'm learning is I'm learning a lot from conversations, having good conversations, especially with those who have been in the industry, kind of observing and also paying attention to what I do is I pay a lot of attention to artists that I admire, not just listen to their music, but I like to get to know the artist. I like to know exactly what they're pushing behind them. So there's a lot of artists that I pay attention to. I pay attention to the type of events that they're throwing. I pay attention to the type of crowd that's going to be there. I pay attention to the type of music, the type of scene, the lineup, the vendors that are going to be there. I also have a lot of friends who they're pushing their music and their brand by putting on their own events, bringing in their own crowd of people, and also giving others a platform to share their work as well. Whether you're an artist and you want to perform at our venue, or whether you make clothes and this is the scene that you want to do business with others that are there. So I'm taking all that into account, and I'm learning just every single day how I can promote my music, and also how on the other side of that fence, how I can just learn as much as I can so I can be excellent and consistent in my craft as well. So that all comes with dedication and keeping yourself open to learning, and also paying attention, finding a mentor. I can honestly say I don't have one person that I can look to as a mentor. I kind of just learn a lot from everybody that I encounter and see if everybody has something to teach you. So that's kind of like the philosophy that I have. So I try to just learn as much as I can and grow with the knowledge that I have, if that makes any sense.
I think that's a great transition because, like, my next question was literally for either one of you guys to answer. Has collaborating with others hinder or made your brand better?
Definitely makes it better. Like that's the whole reason why I'm doing stuff like this or whatever, because I found myself getting kind of stuck inside of a box, like just really just being the one guy in the studio. People come in, people come out, people come in, but collaborating with other people is really what makes you work better as eventually as a leader and as a team member or whatever, because to be a good leader you got to be a good team member. So, and then also I get to learn how different organizations work. So like certain people may have a certain personality style and that may work well for them. Another person may have another personality style that works for them, and then you can kind of mix and match and see what works.
Yeah. Did you have anything for that, Angry Face?
Um,
Have you experienced any hindrance from collaborating with anybody?
I think no, actually not at all. Working with others has taught me a lot about myself and taught me a lot about it kind of solidified my feelings towards music in general. When you're making it with a lot of people who love what they're doing and they're just expressing themselves, for me that's something that I crave. I like I love self-expression. This music is just a great way for me to do. I built a lot of small communities with a lot of people, and it's just great to connect with people. So learning how to connect with people can only make your business better. When you're building a family of people, and a family, like you're building a lot of trust with a lot of people, then people are always going to think about you and place them in the forefront of their mind. When you never know if they have an opportunity, they want to bring you along because you're family, you're part of this community, and you're the first person that popped up in my mind. So I try to not only work with as much people as I can, but really get to know as much people as I can in this industry and in this field. So that you'll only continue to grow with the more people you try to get to know. The more connections that you build.
Yeah.
So the both of you would say it benefited the both of you.
Yeah, definitely. Like you almost kind of like have to be a people person to do this, because like you work with all these different types. I mean, the best way I could put it is like, a dude told me one time, he was like, look, man, you got a studio that's open to the public. You don't know who is going to walk through that door. You don't know if they're going to be black, white, old, young, male, female, gay, straight. It doesn't matter. You need to have the type of personality that works with all of that.
Exactly.
No, I completely agree with that. I feel like if you are a people person, you're able to collaborate with multiple, and that way you can branch out to different types of people. So, Angry Face, this is for either Angry Face or Orlando, whichever. What would you say would put value on yourself as an engineer, on your work? What would make you stand out? What would make your work valuable?
Or how do you price yourself? As a new engineer just graduating, you want to get out there, you want to collaborate, you want to work, but you got bills to pay.
All right. I like that question. All right. So basically, the short answer is this, and then I'll elaborate, right? So a dude told me one time, it was a great piece of advice. He was like this: the music industry is all about coming up with creative ways to make money. That's what it's about. So what you really have to do is first thing you need to do is place yourself in an environment where people are doing this. So whether it's the studios, whether it's clubs, whether it's churches, whether it's companies that do show production, events, whatever it is, but you need to be where what you want to happen is happening. So that's the first thing. And then you observe how other people are making money, and then you observe ways that you can get the value out. So unfortunately, it's not a cut and dry method where you'd be like, all right, well, out of school, I want $20 an hour for this. Like, you could do that, but that may not work at the place that you want to be. The place that you want to be, you may have to be an intern. You may have to work for free. But that may only happen for a few months, and then, you know what, you get the money that you're talking about. Or, conversely, let's say you go somewhere and you're like, all right, I want $50 an hour, and you get it, but you work one time a week. Or you only get called very few and far between. So are you really getting the value that you wanted by that scenario? Because you could say you're making for whatever an hour, but you're not really making the money. Or sometimes I'll just use an example, right? You're a DJ, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say sometimes you're interning somewhere, but you meet somebody who's doing an event. And the event is a paid event. And you might make X amount of $100 doing the event, but you met the person working for free. And that's really what happens more often than not. More often than not, you just got to be in the places where people are doing what you want to do, and then figure out a way to get the value out that way. Because it's not always cut and dry. If it was cut and dry, everybody would do it. But the trick is to come up with a way to get value.
I also think that, just to chime off of that, because you took the words right out of my mouth. But I also think that it also starts with a plan, knowing what you want to do exactly in this field. Whether that's you want to be a touring mixing engineer, like you want to start touring with an artist and be their personal mixing engineer. I think it all just starts with knowing exactly where you want to display your value. Whether that's you want to be a mixing engineer for studios, and that's how you want to make your bread. Just like Orlando was saying, you got to put yourself in that atmosphere observe, analyze, observe, learn how this is how it works here in this environment, or as an engineer, like learning techniques and also finding ways to not just be a sponge, but also display your originality. With that being said, because there's a lot as an engineer you got to learn, and oftentimes a lot of same engineers have a lot of those same techniques. Like they know a lot of the same techniques, but a lot of people stand out from one another because they know how to put their own sauce on top of all that knowledge that they've received from someone showing them, or from them just soaking that in. So to tie that all in, just what Orlando was saying, placing yourself in that environment, analyzing, and also learning how you can be original with everything that you know, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, just to elaborate more, because chances are you're already doing something that you can get value from. The question is, are you negotiating it properly? Are you making the most of it? Because chances are you're already doing something that you can make money with. The trick is to be like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? You told me you write songs. Let's get the checks going. You know what I mean? If you're doing gigs, let's get it going. If you're doing production, let's get it going. The trick is to start. The hardest part really is to ask for the money. That's the hardest part. You'll be surprised what you get for it if you ask.
You're right, because there's been times where, like with me, I feel like I'm a brand new DJ. I feel like I shouldn't be charging a certain amount because who am I? Where's my credibility to charge you some? Okay, so what? I have my equipment. I have this. I know I could create a vibe, but I'll constantly compare myself. Who am I around? Because like you said, I have surrounded myself with who is going on with the DJs in South Miami. You get what I'm saying? I'm putting myself in. I'm trying to associate. I'm going out with them. They're helping me meet other DJs and all that good stuff. But then as I go to books and they're asking me my pricing, I'm like, what's your budget? Cause I don't know. But now I've had people mentor be like, nah, you charging too low. No, you need a boom, 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 boom. This is what it is. Like, this is what your worth is. Like, and I'm just like, you're so right.
Yeah. Same thing happened to me with making beats. Like I'm always making beats. I have fun ways of sharing them. Sometimes I like to just put like a beat out, and people will actually like hit me up like, yo, how much do you charge for beats? And I'm like, I got stuck in that situation, but after that, I had to just,
Yeah, you guys got to ask for the money, man. Because if not, all right, it goes like this. We talked about this in class one day. You got to take your hobby and turn it into a job, then turn your job into a career, right? And it starts by asking for the money. That's like, it's actually so much harder to do than people give it credit for. Like, you really got to start asking for the money. You got to be like, look, man, this is what it is. Because like, I had a conversation with my new intern at the studio yesterday. Same thing. He makes beats, and he was approached by a guy who wanted to buy a beat from him. And I'm like, well, what'd you say? Well, I don't know. And I'm like, nah, we gotta have a talk. Because the trick is, you have to know what you want going in, like before you even start. Which means you gotta really sit down and think about what you're doing. And I mean, like, draw out scenarios. Write down goals. Write down things you want to happen. Give yourself deadlines. Push yourself, and really figure out how you want to do it as far as the money's concerned. And it's not to be greedy, but it's to make smarter decisions. Because if you don't think about the money, you'll be doing it for likes and views and bottles and like stuff that doesn't really build a brand in the long run. Right. So what you want to do is make sure you want to figure out. It's not even about value. You just want to start somewhere and figure out what you can charge, because if not, it's just an expensive hobby.
That makes a lot of sense. I really do agree with you. I feel like once you have an outline of exactly you want to do, and once you set those goals, it's going to be easier to attain them. And once you do set out what your value is and how much you do want to charge, it's going to be easier to say, okay, you need to book me. Well, this is how much you're going to need in order to do that.
The main thing is to have the vision. Like, even me teaching here, this is not an accident. Like, I thought about this a lot. I've called the school plenty times. I've even taught here before. Like, I knew it was going to happen. The way and how, I don't know, but I just always made sure I was on it. I was on it. And then when they had an opening, I made sure I was here. And I made sure I did well on the interview. I made sure, because I knew before I did it. So I thought about everything because you don't have to be the best. You just got to be better than everybody else. So you just figure out what everybody else is doing and do opposite.
So you're saying it's best to start your own wave, in other words, because it's the only way people are going to try to jump on it.
Right. That you have to. That's where the branding comes in. But you could always build it by just being authentic, because there's only one you. There's no one else. So you might as well be the best you. Because the thing about it is this, right? Making money in this climate is, it's hard enough, right? So why do it something? Why attempt to do it doing something that you don't really love, or being someone that you're not? Like managing the money, getting all the invoices, doing all that stuff is enough. So you can't do that and be a phony person, or hate what you like, or hate what you're doing, or whatever. So you might as well just be the best you, be as true as possible, do everything that you really want to do, so that way when the money comes, you can focus on that.
I agree with you. You got to be who you are and do what you love. If not, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Follow your bliss. That's what they call it.
Facts.
Mr. Orlando, are you currently working on anything that you would like to share with us?
Well, let's see here. Honestly, I think my biggest achievement now is I'm building up my staff. Like I just picked up a new intern, so now I have 2 people underneath me. And really what it is there's a strategy that I use to work with the studio and build up the business and do whatever. And I was able to teach that to one person, and now I'm teaching it to another person. And it's like, it's growing, because that's the only way that you can scale up in what we're doing. Like I'm not in a position where I could buy more studios, but I could train more people. I could book more studio time. So like there's an art of booking studio time, just like there's an art of selling beats, just like there's an art of selling music. There's an art of booking yourself as a DJ. There's an art of selling songs. And that's the thing. And that's the part that I really, one of the things I like about being able to be here and share my story or whatever is because I don't have the typical, I was in the studio with Lil Wayne and he was like, I like you, and we've been rocking together ever since, and I have 5 Grammys. No, my story's not like that. My story is like, okay, I worked at this studio, it didn't work out. So I ended up finding a way to work with this client and fly around. Then I end up finding a way to work with this client. Then I end up finding a studio. Then I end up finding, so everything I've done, the majority of it was stuff where I had to take advantage of opportunity, and it was with regular people. But the point I'm trying to make to you is that there's enough regular people who want to do this that we can all make a living. And then like, all right, let's break the myth down even further, right? So every genre of music, right, has a top 100, right? A Billboard top 100 official genre, right? So the radio stations for every genre only pay the top 20. If you think about it, right? So same songs, 20 rotation, country, hip hop, rhythmic, doesn't matter, right? So in any genre, there's 80 songs of people who are charting, doing well, that you've never heard of.
I'm going to start playing just them 80 people and not the top 20.
Yeah. So the music industry is 80% people you never heard of, doing it, making money, on tour, getting money. And then what really reaches you, the stuff that you can't get away from, the stuff that's blaring on the radio, the stuff that you see the marketing and it's always on your phone, that's the top 1% of the industry. You know what I'm saying? There's only one Cardi B. There's only one Rick Ross. There's only one Justin. There's only one. There's only one of each genre. There's only one, the top artist. Everybody else is whatever. And the thing is, we'll be fooled into thinking like, oh my God, if you're not, no, everybody else is making all the money.
That's wild.
Exactly.
So I'm a huge supporter of local artists.
You have to be.
Huge supporter.
Yeah, you have to be. Who do you think opens the acts for everybody? Who do you think packs up the shows? Well, these artists go check in with people. Who do you think they check in with?
But that's something that upsets me, is the fact that all these big artists did start out as local artists.
Right.
But people forget that. They seem to think that they don't give local artists enough credit for their talent or for their art. So I feel like that's something that has to change.
But also, we also have to take a look at it. That's why I always say look at the money. Because sometimes, let's say like, I don't know, just as an example, like Slim Thug or some of the people from Texas Trade the Truth. These people are like legitimately successful by any measure, but they just haven't reached the national platform. And it's good for them. You got to look at your balance. Sometimes being in the national spotlight may not be right for you at the time. But what you want to do is build a sound business at any level. And that's what you need regardless, because you could be a one-hit wonder if your business isn't right, if you don't have the right people around you, if you're not profitable as an entity, you won't make it for very long. You'll be MC Hammer or something. You know what I mean? You'll lose it all. Or you could just be chugging underground, have this super brand. You could be a Tech Nine for somebody who has he has just all this merchandise. He has a huge empire that's totally independent. So the trick is to figure out what works for you, what pays your bills. Because I mean, we all want to live the lifestyle. As long as you're living the lifestyle, it doesn't matter where the money comes from. You know what I mean? As long as you get to do what you want, party, have a good time, take care of your kids, whatever it is that's your priority, as long as you get to do it doing what you love, then you're really winning. Right. I mean, you guys are winning already by studying what you love.
Agreed. It's a blessing because a lot of people love this and they don't get the opportunities to be able to be here.
And before I even came into school, I had a decent job for my age, making a decent amount of money, and I was like, I wasn't happy. I felt like I was putting my energy in something that I did not really care about. So although coming here has its challenges, I would have no regrets doing this because this is something that I love. I'm learning a lot and I see a lot of opportunity in it. So I'm trying to take advantage of this moment,
Trust me, I had that experience too where I had a good job or whatever. And what happened with me was I got kind of like burned by somebody. Like, you know what I'm saying? I won't really go into it, but I just had like a bad taste in my mouth. Mm-hmm. So I used to just work, and then like I had a little studio at the house, and people knew me, so I get songs to mix or whatever. And I thought that was cool until I started getting laid off. You know what I'm saying? This is like 08, 09. So like not once, but twice, but 3 times. And I'm like, you know what? What I thought was safe wasn't really safe at all. The best foundation is the one you build yourself. Can't get fired from your own company. And after that experience of being repeatedly laid off and having all that, I mean, like, trust me, bro, I went through it all. I have home in foreclosure, lost everything. And I was like, I would never work for somebody like that again. I always have to have my own thing. So, and then when I was done, I started really getting into the studio life and doing it, whatever, and living on my own terms. I realized when I look back on when I was working like that, I felt like I was in a coma. I was like, because when I think about it, I'm like, you know what? It was the same day every day. It was the same month every month. It was the same year every year. Same, right? But at least when you're on your own, you can see progress. And like now I'm at the stage where I can give other people opportunities. And that feels better than anything else.
For those who don't know, would you like to drop your IG so they can follow you, your journey?
Yeah. And I also want to give my new IG because I just did, yeah. Yeah, I did. 2 accounts, yeah, exactly. So you can follow my personal account at Mr.Magik Miami, all underscores, Mr._Magik_Miami, or the brand new account, you know what I'm saying, which is strictly for marketing and everything, because I'm building up the studio staff, or we're branching out, or we're just, you know what I'm saying, doing big things. That's Area 51 Recording Studio. That's it. At Area 51.
Area 51.
Yeah. So there's a raid on Area 51 right now.
Okay, facts. That's what's up.
Awesome. Congratulations. And Angry Face, do you have any projects you're currently working on, or do you have anything out?
Yeah, I have yet to release a project. I actually have 3 that I'm getting ready to drop really soon, within the next couple of months. Don't have a set date, but I got a lot of music coming soon, a beat tape, and then 2 little EPs, if you will, or projects that I've been working on. But my Instagram is at angryface_RJ.
Okay, cool. And when your music does drop, do you know on what platforms? Where can they find you on it? Would it be the?
It'll be on all streaming platforms. I'm dropping a beat tape really soon. That's only going to be on SoundCloud. For right now.
A beat tape.
Yeah.
Let's rewind that back. Let's not act like you didn't just say that. A whole beat tape, so nothing but beats.
Nothing but beats.
How many are we looking at?
How many songs?
Yeah. How many do you gonna have up there?
8, probably about 8. It's although it's a beat tape, it has a flow to it. So every song is carefully placed on there, and it has like a bit of a story to it, if you will. So I'm excited for that one.
Okay, that's a nice little.
And they could find you on SoundCloud under Angry Face?
Yeah, you can find me on SoundCloud on Angry Face, all caps with a period at the end. I should be the first one to pop up. So shoot that follow.
Awesome, awesome.
And now for your listening pleasure, Where You From by Angry Face.
No, I had the right away. I let you turn and fade away. Blind spot, baby, that's just my blind spot. Yeah, baby, that. No, I had the right away. I let you turn and disappear. Blind spot, baby, that's just my blind spot. Yeah, no, I had the right away. I let you turn and fade away. Blind spot, baby, that's just my blind spot. Yeah, baby, that. No, I had the right away. I let you go and disappear. Blind spot, baby, that's just my blind spot. Yeah. No, my daddy know how it go. Black man, why this world plan to see my people fall? Every day's a fucking same. I ain't sleep the night before. Now you weighing on my brain. Should've said something when I had the chance. That's just my blind spot. Should've spoke when our lines crossed. Give me another reason just to send me off. Mazel tov. Never thought I'd be stuck here. Wonder where you been lately. Should've never let this slip, baby. No, I had the right away. I let you turn and fade away. Blind spot, baby, that's just my blind spot. Yeah, baby, that. No, I had the right away. I let you turn and disappear. Blind spot, baby, that's just my blind spot. Yeah, baby, that. No, I had the right away. I let you turn and fade away. Blind spot, baby, that's just my blind spot. Yeah, baby, that. No, I had the right away. I let you go and disappear.
SHEJAI, your girl's favorite DJ.